All right, what do YouTube? It's your boy Wayne. We back in the building with a this ain't even a pot of balloon to find love video, nigga. But this a video though. And I added some more joints to my sound effect board. So, you know what I mean? I got a whole page. I added 1, 2, 3, 10. I added 13 new sound. Well, they not new. They just some are new, some are old, but I just expanded it. So I didn't have my hitting her off 4-5 times with
Nigga balls clocking like a glockenspiel up on the clock.
you know what I mean? What else I got? Oh yeah.
I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow. Shot the nigga. Bow, shot his ass. Bow, bow.
You know what I mean? So yes, sir. Anyway, that being said, I'm ready to put some go-go on real quick. And then I'm gonna go ahead and set my phone up and all that shit, and then we'll get into it. Every time I start YouTube, it goes like random ass shit. Anyway. And I know y'all niggas want Pop the Balloon to find love videos. I'm not doing one tonight, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. Shout out the new impressions, you know what I mean? Yes, sir. You know what I mean? So anyway, that being said, I probably don't know how long I'm gonna be on. I do want to go through some videos because I done seen these videos and I don't want to review other people's reviewing of a video. I'd much rather give you the full video. But there are some things that I did want to just say or talk about and get my thoughts or feelings and opinions about it because hell nigga, that's what YouTube about. But anyway, let me go ahead and pull that shit up right quick. Let me say this real quick. Okay. Hold on. Where it said watch later. So, this a real quick video, but it's more or less along the lines of what I've been like things that I've been seeing and I wanted to and I don't know the content creator. His name is Thomas Cyber, Sieber, Saber. I think it's Thomas Saber. Anyway, but he's a YouTuber and he's talking about CarMax. So the reason why I came across this because I'm looking in the information and I actually had one car. My very first car that I bought was from CarMax. But yeah, let's get into it.
Over $46,000 after the $499 documentation fee for a 2023 Mercedes-Benz EQS 450 with
45,000. What did he say?
Documentation fee. Over $46,000 after the
45,000.
The $499 documentation fee for a 2023 Mercedes-Benz EQS 450 with 24,000 miles. Did they?
So a used car with 24,000 miles. I get it. It's a Mercedes E, so it's probably an electric car. But I'll say this about anybody who has cars or anybody who I don't have a massive amount of wealth. I am completely on the. I am I'm 5 minutes away from deciding if my kid's gonna eat versus me. But in my opinion, I've always said like we've gone so far in this country to uh, like our appetite for new has gone to its absolute limits. There is no more space in this world for, oh, I want a new car, or oh, I want a new car, or oh, I want this, I want that. Unless you have massive amounts of wealth, you just simply can't afford it. And these car prices, I don't know how anybody can even justify any of these car prices, but I mean, you're gonna see this is CarMax and this is a used car dealer. If you go to a used car dealer for a car and it costs 50,000, unless that shit is $100,000 car normally, then I don't understand it. Like my thoughts is when you go to a used car dealership, you're supposed to be getting you're supposed to be trying to find the diamond in the rough. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be getting a not significant, I would say a sizable discount from it being a brand new car, right? But this is where we at in the world, you know.
They
But we gonna
raised that
see.
documentation fee. I got to go back and check. I thought it was $3.99, but there you go, man. Talk about depreciation.
And that is a in that car, once you drive it off, it's not gonna be worth 49,000 no more. It may not even be worth 30. As soon as you drive it, you had that car 6 months, I guarantee you, you try to sell it and ain't nobody even gonna give you over 30 for it. And that's forget what type of spec it is. You know what I mean?
This is Mercedes Benz, but we're here at CarMax where everything's different now. They're trying to lower prices. They got a new CEO and all this stuff. Everybody saw the stock price drop like a rock. We all knew this was coming because they are a loan, basically. They offer a lot of loans, so they're basically a big buy here, pay here. When you have this situation where everybody's buying vehicles, they can get whatever they want for them, but if they don't make their payments, it's irrelevant. Then their stock drop like a rock. 39,000 for this 2014 Porsche. Let's see, 46,000 miles. That's a depreciation too, man. These things are now they're $100,000 for basically the same thing. It's pretty dang crazy, but it's a very interesting thing that's happening at CarMax. They're supposed to slash prices, all this kind of stuff. CarMax is a huge used car dealer in the United States, but they've
And I think it's one of the biggest. I don't know who the biggest used car dealer is. I would have to say CarMax. I can't say Carvana. Carvana's probably like the newest up and coming, but they just don't have this sizable amount of car places, you know. I
always
mean,
been
car dealerships, you know.
known to have pretty high prices and you can't negotiate. There's been kind of stuff. CarMax is a huge used car dealer in the United States, but they've always been known to have pretty high prices and you can't negotiate. There's no negotiating. 12,000, basically 13,000 after the documentation fee for a 2016 Hyundai. Let's see, 92,000 miles, and look at those payments, up to 22.95% APR.
Crazy, bro. You gonna be paying this car for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you only paid $500 toward the. Man, this is crazy. But these are like, and a part of me doesn't even want to blame the car dealerships. A part of me really just wants to blame. I don't even want to blame the car dealerships. I want to blame the people, the American people cause this issue where we always keep having to buy new. But I understand that if we just put these auto manufacturers out of business by not purchasing them, that they're going to lower the price slightly, but they're not going to lower the price. They're just not going to make sales. But that causes more pressure on used cars because used cars are going to go through the roof. But I think somebody told me in business there's always a value somewhere and there's always like a dud somewhere. You just have to spot anytime something new or something's like dying out, like for instance, like you have Blockbuster, you have Netflix, right? Netflix essentially stepped in a place where Blockbuster died, but both were seemingly in business at the same time, theoretically, right? Or both started, like not started at the same time, but you have both at one point in time, both are alive and well. You as the consumer have to discern which one is, especially as the business person, you have to discern which one is on its way out and which one is on its way up. Both things are happening at the same time with anything, so no different than these burger chains. And I got a video speaking about the burger chains and shit like that too, because bro, what private equity does to them is just
And
crazy.
these
But
prices, 72 months without any down payment, still $324. If you do the math on that, you see how much goes to interest. But there you go. I mean, these prices need to slash. But I see the documentation fee. I'm pretty sure it used to be $399. But there you go. They got an extra 100 out of you. That's how they're doing it, a little bit at a time. But they need to slash these prices, not go the other way. $20,000, $21,000, 2024 Toyota Corolla. 46,000 miles. Now, MSRP on this one, with dealership discounts, you can get a brand new one for about $23,000. So it's kind of, some of these discounts might not be enough. Now, here's going to be
see,
a very
that's the thing. Like the new car price or used car price at the price of a new car, and it's not even like it's at the price of a new car, but it's 5,000 over. This shit is literally the same exact price. You know what I mean? And oh, that's what I'm gonna say. It's not like it's 2,000 miles, 5,000 miles. That is a 40. That's 50,000 miles. Now, of course, Toyotas go until 300,000 miles, so it's a sixth of its product life, right? But if I can get the new one at the same exact price, how am I going to pay the used one at that price? But the used one isn't like newer spec, isn't at a lower rate. It's just, I mean, the used one isn't at a newer spec, at a cheaper rate or nothing like that. It's just, man, it's crazy out here. But I'm gonna let this video
expensive
play for a
Corolla.
little
Let's
bit more, and
see.
we're gonna see
What
what
are
other
they
ones he shows, and then we're gonna pop into the next video.
asking? We got a Toyota Corolla GR. Let's see here, $41,000, 14,000 miles. Wow, look at that, $1,000 payment. Imagine having $1,000 monthly payment on your Toyota Corolla. That would be kind of crazy, but this is the issue with CarMax. They gave out way too many loans. I mean, they were giving them out like candy, basically, over the last few years, and they offer their own financing. So they also go through third-party banks, of course, like every other dealer, but they have CarMax Financial. So they can get somebody approved that maybe wouldn't other places. So that's an advantage they have to sell more vehicles. 2014 Toyota, $17,000, and this one has 80,000.
Come on, bro. Hold on. Let me do something real quick, cause my damn. Hold on, real quick, bro.
I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow. Shot the nigga. Bow, shot his ass. Bow, 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 bow.
Like, so
miles, and I mean you can see the payments.
Now
Can
I've always had used cars, and I would never. I think I wouldn't say never because never is a strong word. Um, never is a strong word, especially because I'm not in that position. You know, if I had $100,000 in the bank, I damn sure ain't about to be in a uncomfortable situation. But now that the world is in this situation where everybody's dead broke, there's no wiggle room nowhere. Now I fully understand because I see it everywhere and I see it with everyone that in order to go far, you literally got to go at this shit at what's best for you. That's why I always say in my videos, do what is self interest pays the most. Do what is in your best interest 100% of the time, not 95, 100% of the time. Because when it all goes up, when all the shits and giggles are done, you know you gonna be left with the damn bill. You gonna be left with the charge. You gonna be left out here at assed out. And I don't want to ever see that for anybody that I know personally. So that's why I tell everybody I know I, young motherfuckers at my job, I tell them, I remember about a few weeks ago, I was telling a young nigga, he was 20 and he was a manager at a Walgreens. He'd been working at the Walgreens since he was 16. He's a manager at the Walgreens, but he worked part time where I work at. And I was like, man, you 20 years old, bruh. And I was like, man, if I could, I would do anything to go back to your age. But I said, and he was like, man, what would you do if you was my age? I said, bruh, I, I will be selfish 100% of the time and not feel a fucking ounce of guilt. Because when you're not selfish and you don't do what's in, not selfish, when you don't do what's in your best interest, you will be asked out. Everybody's gonna poke and prod and pull on your emotional strings and try to guilt you into doing something that's in their interest. No, never do that shit. That ain't saying you got to be selfish because you know, like I would never. I don't promote being selfish. I promote being self-interested. There's a clear difference. But yeah, man, I was like, bro, do what's in your best interest all the time. It don't matter when it comes to a chick, when it comes to your job, when it comes to your parents, when it comes to your friends and family, when it comes to any and everything you do in life. Do what's best for you. But anyway, back on this. Um, yeah, man, like I said, me now that I'm more grown and I see like how fucked up everybody is in the world. That's why I can feel confident in what I'm saying about doing what's in your best interest. Because look, these companies realize these cars are shit. You know what I mean? You can't sell them. The government's trying to force everybody to do EV fucking cars. Meanwhile, there's the EV cars are stacking up because nobody's buying them. They cost way too damn much. Plus, the moment you go get an EV car, you're now in full control of them because they can just track the damn car, or eventually they're gonna make cars where it's just gonna take you to the police station when you light the blunt up in the car. You think you're gonna be driving to your job, lighting the blunt up, hot boxing, going to your job at Walmart, and then boom, the car just gonna take you to the police station and drop your ass off. So niggas already know that that's what's coming down the line. So that's why nobody's buying. And I'm actually really, before I get back to the video, I'm actually really interested and curious to see what the sales are for the Dodge Chargers and Challengers, the EV ones that Dodge came out with, because I know they have electric ones. They have the EV style, but it has a regular motor in it. So I'm just curious to see how that sale has been going on, because they got these Hellcats and these Scat Packs with fucking electric cars in them, but you got a speaker to generate the audio of a scat like a V8. Bruh, it's goofy shit. Straight up goofy.
get pretty crazy when you're talking about 22% interest, and this is the issue.
And I had a car it was $8,000. It was $9,000. It was like a Chrysler 200 with I don't know how many miles. I can't remember. Um, and my interest rate was 23. So I've done this stupid shit before. The car I specifically bought from CarMax was a 2009 Chevy Cobalt coupe, the 2-door joint, and I love the fuck out of that car. But it is what it is.
With CarMax, man, people not making their payments, their stock dropped like a rock, really bad. 2017 Audi Q5, $20,000, 64,000 miles. Talk about, man, and the issues it could have. But CarMax makes a lot of their money from their finance and insurance. So they offer, obviously, the financing, and they offer extended warranties that they want everybody to purchase. And some people have had good experiences with them, but I'm just not a fan of any sort of aftermarket warranty because I know how aftermarket warranties are. They want to get out of doing any work. 2021 Chevy, let's see here, $20,000 again.
You gotta be careful for that. That's why I say, like, the title of this video is scams. Motherfuckers is scamming, and there's no bigger scam in the world than insurance. Now you can just keep it as just insurance, the industry. And what I mean by insurance is when I say it's a scam, I don't mean it's bad. What I'm saying is when you get into certain insurances, whether it's car, health, medical and shit like that, they're gonna poke and prod and find any way to get out of doing what's on the paper, you know. And again, when it comes to shit like that, you know, you're paying insurance every month toward a service. Then when you actually need the service, they figure out some fucking loophole to say, no, unfortunately, we can't pay for it. You're gonna be feeling hot. You're gonna be mad, you know. And that's why I say, like, but if they can pull it, pull it. I'm not ever going to say, you know, don't get over on somebody. I mean, shit. I don't think that people should get over on anybody, but hey, at the end of the day, if somebody's willing to take that lesser position, who am I to fucking not let them take it? I just know that I'm not going to do it. I'm not here to cape or cope for anybody who want to take a fucked up position. If you want to, you know, get scammed, then get scammed. I'm just saying the reason why the world is in disarray is because of scams and insurance and shit like that. There's tons of videos, and I'm going to go through them tonight.
72,000 miles, but look at the payments. Very good interest rate at 8.95, at 360, all the way up to 22% interest. So it gets pretty crazy, but I'm not seeing the price slashing yet. I mean, they need to cut these prices, and they've always been known to have high prices, and now they even have some older vehicles because it's all about getting the payment where it needs to be. 300, 250, 400, whatever the payment the customer.
Yeah, and if you payment shop, that's the first sign that you fucked up, because you payment shop, they gonna get that payment down for you, but you gonna be paying for that shit forever. It's gonna go past 72 months. You're gonna have 94 months. You're gonna be paying for that car for 9 years, $200 a fucking a month, $300 a month for 9 years. Versus if you just saved that money, you could have bought the car outright. But this is the state that people in, and I'm not mad at people for being in this position, because nigga, we all fucked up. You know what I mean? I'm fucked up too. So I just dealt with a layoff. I got laid off the day after Christmas. So I know what it feels like to be in this fucked up position and in a position of need. I make no light of that at all. But what I'm saying is, as people, as American, or just people in general, we can't fix this problem unless we all do something different. But nobody's willing to do anything different. So we're going to keep dealing with this same shit.
Once, even with bad credit, because they're going to be at 22% interest, the payment's going to be high. Even on a 2015 GMC, $14,000, but it has 100,000 miles.
It has 100,000 miles, yeah. I don't think that GMC is going to last 2 years.
And you can see it's up to $360 a month at 23% interest. I mean, just imagine financing the vehicle at 23% interest. Just the fact that a lot of their customers are at that point. You know, they get very few cash buyers here. Most of them are going to be financed, either through them or through a bank or a credit union. You know, it's just how they're able to sell these vehicles. But they need big discounts, man. Big discounts. I'm not seeing it yet.
They not gonna discount these cars, bro. But anyway, that's enough of that video. Shout out to this guy. Um, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We can't stop this problem. Um, Unfortunately, we can't stop this problem. But we're going to where is it at? All right, let me play this one because I wonder where is it at. I think it's this. Well, this is another reason why. Um, this is another video. Now this talks
Trend.
about restaurant businesses and stuff like that. So shout out to this content creator. His name is Established Context. So yeah, let's get into this one.
It's no secret that fast food companies have been struggling the last couple years. But for a while, the fast casual brands were actually bucking that trend. They were holding up better because they were offering more perceived value than traditional fast food. But those days appear to be over with. Fast casual is getting hammered right now. Chipotle, Kava, and Sweetgreen have all watched their stock prices fall off a cliff recently, some down more than 50% from just a year ago. And they're all saying the same thing on their earnings calls. Younger customers aren't coming as often, and when they do, they're spending less. A study from TD Cowen backs this up.
Yeah, they're spending less because they're getting. See, the problem with the world is we need to be able to work our way out of this situation, but we can't work, in my opinion, and I'm no economist. In my opinion, you can't work your way out of the situation when you're hamstringing yourself to the situation. I liken it to an example I think of is, let's say you're in the middle of the ocean, right? And you're drowning. You don't know how to swim, but you're holding on to a briefcase that has all the money in the world. And you know that value, that briefcase, if you can just make it to safety with that briefcase, you're going to have everything in the world. Everything's going to be peachy smooth, you're going to have everything in the world, but you can't hold on to that briefcase because you can't swim. So you need to be able to get to safety, but you got to let go of that briefcase. And us as a society, us as a world, us as a nation, in my opinion, we don't do that. We're trying to hold on to that briefcase, but that briefcase is bringing us down with all that money in it. Versus letting it go, getting to somewhere safe on land, and then we can double back and figure out how to get that briefcase out the water. We can't do nothing. We can't think about how to get the briefcase out of the water because we're drowning. But again, the society, the country doesn't think like that. So where we keep the prices of wages don't go up, but not managers, but C business, C corp management, C corp, not C corp. What do you call it? The big chief managers, I guess you call them. They their pay goes up, their value goes up, but all the money kind of just gets stuck there. Meanwhile, everybody down here, the peons like you, me, and everybody else, everybody who's worthless, you know what I mean?
I do not look down on niggers, kikes, wops, or greasers. Here you are all equally worthless.
All of us who are equally worthless, we're here just to get taxed to high hell to fund this shit. But it doesn't help us out. But again, and I'll wait. I'll get to that.
It found that unemployment, lower spending power, and higher living costs are dragging younger customers down. And when that happens, dining out is the first thing that they cut back on.
Chipotle, why is it $23.92 for one burrito?
Kava costs $16 for a bowl.
Yep, those bowls back in the day. I don't know how young any of my content viewers are, but those bowls back in the day, a bowl from Chipotle after tax was like 7 something. I can't even tell you how long ago that shit was. Back 2018, 2016, somewhere there. Them shits were $7, $8. Sad, they just keep going up.
Now, everyone knows Chipotle, but in the past, when I've mentioned Sweetgreen or Kava, there's usually a handful of comments saying that they've never heard of these places. And that's fair. Their footprint is tiny by comparison. Chipotle has nearly 4,000 locations, while Sweetgreen and Kava are still in the low hundreds. But conceptually, they're basically siblings. Sweetgreen is the salad version of Chipotle, and Kava is the Mediterranean version. All three are public
Sweetgreen is the salad version.
companies, and all three sell what people online love to call slop bowls. Now, here's the important part. Everything we're seeing from these companies is recession behavior. Kava's CEO, Brett Schulman, literally said this in a recent interview.
We got a little bit of a window into what might be happening with the fast casual space when Chipotle, Mexican Grill, they really took a hit with their stock when they announced that they were having the same type of difficulty. So is there anything you can do to fight that? I mean, obviously with the tariffs.
Lower the price. That's the only way, in my opinion. But I understand why you can't lower the price. Because in order to lower the price, you're going to have to cut back on 25% of the stores are going to have to go. But you're going to still need to be able to force everybody else into, it's just impossible. It's just impossible. You can't make the product any healthier, right? Because it's all slop bowls, like he said. So you can't, imagine this. How do you fix this situation? Okay, you can't make the bowls any healthier, right? Let's just say they're already healthy, whatever. Who knows? They probably are chock full of preservatives, all that. That's a whole nother issue, but let's just say they're healthy. You can't make them healthier. You can't make it faster because the process is still the same. You can't get rid of the employees and just put robots in there because one, you're going to have to pay for the robots up front. Two, you're going to have to put the robots in there. That's years away from actually being a working thing. And then the public outrage from that ain't going to help you. Or you're going to need to cut back on the amount of stores you have, which there's no way for you to really do that. So, and then who do you sell those stores to? Because you just got the land, or I don't know if you have to pay anything because the land is, I don't even know how that shit works. But like, there's no way for you to fix this situation. There's no way for you to fix it.
It's more of a, do we raise prices, but would you consider tweaking your prices?
Well, this is a very intense discount promotional environment, the most intense since the Great Recession.
Really?
In fact, 30% of all restaurant transactions were tied to a discount or a deal in the last 12 months.
Now that signals consumers are clearly tapping out. But
Yeah.
here's the weird
If 30% of your people are now focused on the fucking cost of something, like they're really focused in on the cost of something, that doesn't mean that your shit, whatever you're selling, is inherently that high. I mean, to me, that doesn't really mean that, but it does send the indication that people are looking for a way to lower the thing. You know what I mean? Lower the cost of it. It is what it is.
contradiction. Despite traffic slowing and restaurants everywhere scrambling for value, none of these three are offering any real value menus or meaningful discounts. They're just holding the line, even as the customers who built these brands start pulling back. This is because fast casual has tried to separate themselves from fast food while still competing with them. They don't want to get into the value wars the same way McDonald's or Wendy's has to, and I'm not saying that won't change in the future, but as of now, they don't seem motivated to start. And to be clear, all three of these companies are in very different financial situations from even just one another. Chipotle is the biggest and frankly is still raking in billions in revenue each quarter. Kava is doing okay, but has had their accelerated growth trajectory slow way down. And Sweetgreen, on the other hand, is still not profitable as a business. In fact, they've been losing more money this year than they did last year, which investors are finding extremely concerning given that they've been around since 2007. So not only have they been around almost 20 years and they're still not profitable, they told investors when they went public back in 2021 that they expected to be profitable by 2024. Now for Sweetgreen, this is largely due to their G&A expenses, which is general and administrative costs, aka the executives are being paid too much.
Yeah.
But let's get into
What? Imagine that. Your executives are being paid too much. Who would have fucking thought? Like again, this is the reason why the title of this live is scams. You know what I mean? There's just no there's just no there's just no wiggle room for lies no more. You know, like your your investor your this G&A. I didn't even know that that was a. I knew that there's probably a metric or something like that that you could run data against, but I didn't know it was called G&A. So your investors are getting paid too much. All that money can be used to either lower the cost by getting better deals, better contracts on the food production or getting it faster, or that money could be saved to try other shit like a dollar menu. I know you don't want to get into being like McDonald's, but you can use that extra money instead of paying these fuckers all this amount of money. You can use some of that money to try new things to get a jump in, revenue. You could also use that money to pay to probably source stuff closer to certain stores or certain areas. I don't know, because y'all probably all getting y'all shit from Cisco like every other restaurant, right? So you could probably use that money to get the price lower, but again, you're paying that money to investors. Okay, again, the people who aren't doing the most of the work, they're getting paid the most. I just don't see why people don't see that. Now I understand that these people have to get paid money because they're um these people are, getting the funding and making sure that they're keeping you afloat while the business is not profitable. The problem is they're taking a significant cut while the business is not profitable. You know what I mean? How long are you going to run at a deficit? Last time I checked, when you run at a deficit long enough, whether it's the product or the marketing or whether it's something that's in your control or something that's outside of your control, it doesn't matter. If you run a business at a deficit long enough, you will have no money.
aka the executives
stop
are being
this.
paid too much. But let's get into some more of the specifics here. See, Chipotle said on their earnings call that they expect their same store sales to decline for the full year of 2025. And this metric is one of the most important ones for larger restaurant chains because it tracks revenue at existing locations that have been open for at least a year. Now, this won't come as a surprise, but investors want to see that number continuously go up. Chipotle also warned that younger people are dining out less, saying that the 25 to 34-year-old group is pulling back and they're eating at home instead. 25
They're eating at home, but look what the headline says. Business Insider. Chipotle says it's lost steam with Gen Z and millennial customers due to unemployment. You can't fix that. Student loans, which everybody's about to be, you know, bent over backwards for, and stagnant wages. So you literally have unemployment. I don't think unemployment really is the biggest thing. I know people have lost jobs and things like that, but for the most part, people are working. You know, student loans is a big thing that is to come, because when all of us who went to college at any point in time and you have a loan and they're taking 10 to 15% of your check, you think Chipotle is going to struggle to have people? No, the world's going to go in disarray. I think that is, once that happens, I guarantee you there will only be two things ever. There will be, real estate is going to have to be there because people are going to need to live. Walmart is going to be there. And, you know, whatever online retailer you purchase from is going to be there, like Amazon, stuff like that. You will still have your manufacturing plants because they're going to manufacture the things that people buy. But when all of that shit when student loans kick in and everybody in the world takes 15% of their checks gone, which is damn near a fourth. So if you make $100, imagine somebody taking $15 out of your $100. Just right off the rip. For however long they fucking need to. You know. And they're paying, once you pay back the loan, like that money that they take is going to the loan amount. That's going to the interest amount. It's not going to your principal. So they're going to take out that amount of money from your check. On top of them taking out that amount of money from your check, you still got to work wherever you need to work. Stagnant wages, so you're not getting paid more. And you think motherfuckers is going to go to Chipotle, McDonald's, these restaurants? And restaurant business is already the hardest business to maintain because you got to source the food. Number one, if food just lived forever and there was no such thing as expiration dates and stuff like that, then restaurants would be easier to kind of maintain and manage. But it's always cycle in, cycle out. Two, restaurants depend on people having discretionary income. I think, they have an income outside of all their thing. They have discretionary income. So if somebody just took 15% of my money for my student loans, who's going to have discretionary income? Discretionary income was already tight because inflation and rental prices and all this shit. It's just a perfect storm. And that's why I tell people all the time, do what's in your best interest out here. These companies are going to have to go away. Until the world goes back in the Stone Ages, then we'll do it right. But until then, we're going to keep seeing this shit that you see on the
The 34-year-old group is pulling back, and they're eating at home instead. Sweetgreen reported a decline of almost 10% in same-store sales over the third quarter compared to a year ago. Their CFO said on the call that the 25 to 35-year-old consumer is the most under pressure, and they make up about 30% of their consumer base. Now, sales from that demographic dropped roughly
it makes sense. A third of your consumer base is young motherfuckers, 25 to 35, young people. Why? Because these are the people with jobs. These are people who, you know, they ain't got shit. They probably ain't got families like that. You know what I mean? And they don't have a fucking big car payment. They can probably walk to the damn Chipotle, or the Chipotle is right across the street from their dorm room. You know, these are young people who just buy weed, overpriced cell phones, and go to concerts and buy Chipotle. You know what I mean? So of course that's a third of your people. You know, they're under pressure. You know, they're not getting their money going up, and they're gonna be really under pressure when that student loan repayment kicks in.
15%. That's quite a steep drop. But then again, they're selling salads that range from $14 to $20. Sweetgreen is probably the most expensive of the three fast casual chains, and it's really starting to hurt them. Kava's CEO pushed back on the notion that they're selling overpriced meals. He said on the call, quote, "Well, the reality is you can get a chicken fillet at Kava with all the toppings included, 3 different spreads, greens and grains, for $10.65 to our highest price of $13 in New York City. So that's a sub $13 bowl in the most expensive market, not a $20 lunch." And here's the thing all three of these companies are hinting at, even if they don't want to say it directly. They've priced themselves into a corner. For years, fast casual
And
brands were
I don't even think that this is just an issue of Kava. And I'm gonna get off this video right now. I think this is an issue of the world. Literally, the world has done this. I don't even know how they just perfectly done this. It's no different than the perfectly timed. You know when you're watching football and they say there's no defense that can protect you against the perfectly placed football. I mean, you could have the wide receiver smothered, but if that football is perfectly placed, there is nothing you can do about it. And that's where these companies are, and that's where we are in the world. We put ourselves in a corner where the only way out is to go forward, but to go forward, we're gonna have to bleed. Like theoretically, we're gonna have to lose a lot. We're gonna have to get rid of all these restaurants that we think, oh, we just have the luxuries to buy shit, slop bowls and shit like that. And I love Chipotle, and I've never had Cava or Sweet Green, but I love Chipotle. So the idea that we have this luxury to buy shit like that is gone, if we're gonna go in the best direction for ourselves. But we can't do that unless we can't go in that direction unless people realize that our country needs to change. And this is everything from other scams. This is everything from how we treat each other. This is everything from how we relate to one another. This is everything from what goes on in hood politics, what goes on in the neighborhood. This is everything from how we take care of ourselves diet wise, mental health wise, the disabled people. This is how we deal with drugs. This is how we deal with people not becoming baby mamas and baby daddies. All that shit is connected. But the only way forward is through rocks and glass, broken glass on the floor. That is the only way forward. But if we can get forward and get through it, we'll be better. We'll be 100% better. But again, this is not what people want to do. People just want to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And so that's why, again, I'm going to tell you, do what's in your best interest, man. Don't worry about none of these people in this world because they not finna take care of you or do what's going to help you. They not. They really not. So, I don't know what to tell y'all, but we moving right along. Where is it at? Shit. Damn, where is it at? Damn, nah, I can't find it. Okay, I think I got it. Niggas can't compete with each other. We're gonna talk about this one real quick. Now, first and foremost, shout out to this woman, you know what I mean?
I'm finna go deep inside. Yeah, I'm finna go deep inside. Yeah, I'm finna go deep inside. Yeah, just leave them nuts hanging out. Yeah.
With the block, punishing her, nigga balls clocking like a glockenspiel up on the clip. Clock.
So that's, first and foremost, shout out to her. You know what I mean? I don't know who you are, ma'am, but yeah. So, with that being said,
lawmakers want to ban VPNs and they have no idea what they're doing. Guys, yes, there is now legislation in several states to ban VPNs. And I want you to take a guess as to where this ties into. Just take a guess. Is it some of the things that we've been talking about? Is it attached to digital ID? Is it attached to the 20 bills that are currently being legislated in Congress right now that effectively in freedom of speech? Guys, when I told you it encompasses so many things, A lot of people say, well, I'm going to get a VPN.
Damn.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Well, no. And it's not just our government that wants to ban VPNs. Wouldn't it be crazy if governments around the world are doing the exact same thing at the exact same time?
Yep. So again, I don't even know where to start on this one. This one isn't so much of a scam, but it's to me, it's more of the sign of the times that the government realizes. I've said it numerous times on the show. The single most important show ever, the most important show ever in history, right, was a show called Revolutions. It came out, I don't even know how many years ago, but it was a show premised around the electricity in the world going out. And the reason why the show was so important, and now the show only had one season, and it kind of went off into like, it showed bits and pieces of how people would live and like how they would be violent toward one another and how people would cultivate and live like the Amish way. But the reason why this show was so important is because it showed you what life would be like without electricity. The funny thing is, when I saw that show so many years ago, I always thought that is what the world is going to come to. Now, if you haven't seen the show, it's called Revolutions. It only had one season. But imagine this. The government realizes that they want to ban. They realize that us as humans, us as regular folk, we're starting to get trembling to push back against this system of, okay, no, we're not going to do it the bullshit way. So there are companies who are helping you with VPNs and different things like that. And you can use their services. I don't even know how authentic their services are, but that's neither here nor there. But you can use these services and have VPNs if you want, but I really don't know if they're that accurate. I've heard something before about VPNs, but I'm not gonna. It ain't really helpful about what the fuck I'm talking about. But just in general, if you want to use VPNs, use them. But the government realizes that they need tighter restrictions on human interaction, and they're just gonna put these laws and BS things in place to try to get you to fold, and we'll see what happens. But let's hear it, Melanie King.
Just like digital ID, digital currency. So
Yeah, digital currencies. You know, they want to kind of get rid of crypto, but then the government realized, hey, we're going to a digital world anyway, so why don't we just create our own digital cryptocurrency? And
social credit score, all of those things.
Social credit score, that's another one. You know, shout out to that. I forgot all about that. But social credit score, man.
Things and a automatic draft to go to war, guys.
Nah,
All
that's the only thing I don't believe will ever happen. There will never be there will never be an automatic draft to go to war. Number one, because first off, there won't be no automatic draft to go to war. Because when war kicks off, you don't have time to react. You have time to respond. So if war just jumped off tomorrow, they're not gonna have time. Once niggas start nuking each other and missiles and bombs away, there ain't gonna be no policeman showing up to my house, or I'm outside that age anyway. But let's just say they wanted to take my goofy ass, right? Ain't gonna be no cop showing up saying, hey, can you stop? Ain't gonna be no cops showing up. That's my damn cat. Ain't gonna be no cops showing up saying, hey, we need you to go to war, so leave your family and all that shit behind and go to war. First off, I'm outside the age limit, but let's just say they change the age and say, we need everybody. First off, how you gonna do that when you have so many people in this country who ain't even in shape to go to war? Number two, you don't even have the fucking resources to go to war. You don't have enough guns and bullets to give to all these people. You don't have the military training to give to these people. You don't even have the military leadership to give to these people to go to war. And then, okay, let's just say you do decide, okay, automatic draft. You gonna get a man? Okay, so what happened when you go to my neighbor? My neighbor named Tom, but he go by Tamika. Are you gonna get Tamika to go? Like, come on, bruh. Ain't gonna be no automatic draft. And how that's gonna work? Because the moment you do that, you gonna have them people on your ass. Ain't gonna be no automatic draft. There may be war, but there will never be an automatic draft. Quote me on it.
Let's get into it. Every day it's something new. Remember when you thought age verification laws couldn't get any worse? Well, lawmakers in Wisconsin, Michigan, and beyond are about to blow you away. It's unfortunately no longer enough to force websites to check your government issued ID before you can access certain content. But guys, understand, this won't be just for certain content, because they're bringing this up in the guise of like I guess porn sites right now. In some states, you have to, show your ID, or you have to prove your age, right? And so there's been an argument about, will people use VPNs? Understand, it starts there, and then they say, well, it's so we want to protect kids from the porn sites, and we want to protect kids.
You can't protect kids from the porn sites. Number one, you can't do that. I'm not saying you can. I mean, you should. We should, as a country, do that. But the reason we can't is because we all are equally full of shit.
I do not look down
Like
on
I've been
niggers,
saying, we're
kikes,
all full of shit,
wops,
bro.
or greasers. Here you are all equally worthless.
You know what I mean? We all equally worthless, bro.
Didn't care, Nick. He didn't even try.
You know what I mean?
You could have walked out of that courtroom with your head held high. I could have lived with that, Nick.
See, we could have did that. We could have did that before we gave all these, let's just say, broke wrist laws. And I'm not coming down on the people with the broke wrists. First off, shout out to the people with the broke wrists. You know what I mean? Shout out to y'all, because y'all do what the fuck y'all want to do, and y'all actually got real power and muscle behind yourselves. I don't know how you did it, but y'all got real power and muscle behind yourselves. Y'all got more than what black people have as a whole, so shout out to y'all. The broke wrist mafia. I don't have no beef with y'all. Shout out to y'all. But back on what I'm saying. There's no way to protect kids from it. Number one, kids are cunning and they're going to figure out a way to access it. Number two, how you going to protect kids from these sites, these P sites that you want to take down, but you don't want to take down the P site. So take the site down so nobody can access it. You know what I mean? Everything on the internet, kids are going to have access to. So until you stop the internet, kids are going to have access to the internet. But then we want to give them Chromebooks, and we want kids to learn using technology in the schools, and they get cell phones at 14 and however old they are, and you can't hide kids away from the negative aspects of human nature. Now we can train them about what to do and what to think and how to see and how you should maneuver yourself, but you can't protect kids against it. They're going to find it. It's everywhere. How you going to protect kids from going on a prawn site? Meanwhile, every other show you got show two niggas kissing. Like, come on, bruh. Which one is it?
No.
You trying to protect them from a prawn site, but let me get back to her.
Everything is protecting kids. Everything is protecting kids.
Everything is protecting kids. You know what I mean? Everything's under the guise of protecting kids. Sad, man. Was that Minnesota Somali daycare center scandal in guise of protecting kids? Was that also in the guise of protecting kids?
So, but understand, okay? Oh, we need to ban it so we can protect kids and make sure they aren't looking at inappropriate sites. But what does that do to you? You can no longer use VPNs. So instead of coming up with any other solution, no, we're just going to outright ban all VPNs. Okay. I kid you not. Oh, sorry. I'll reread this. It's unfortunately no longer enough to force websites to check your government issued ID before you can access certain content because politicians.
Hold up. Why my shit freeze up? What the fuck is happening? Hold on, bruh. We having trouble. I'm just having trouble. So if y'all could see me, hold on real quick. The stream's current bit rate. Stream's current bit rate. We recommend that you use a stream bit rate of what? I don't even know how to change that shit. How do I change it? Come on, bruh. Am I still streaming? Hold on. I'm having some difficulties. Hold on, bruh. They shout out to me, bruh. They taking my stream down, man. Let me go to something else that I was playing. So it's my stream, bruh. If y'all can see me on the stream, so here's what we gonna do. If y'all can see me on the stream, right, then we just gonna why isn't it doing it? All right, if y'all can see me on the stream, then I'm about to hop off. But anyway, like I was saying, I don't know why it's doing that, but I'll figure that shit out at some point. But yeah, man, just be on the lookout for these scams going on. It's way more scams than any time ever in history, and they're getting worse and worse and worse. Um, just make sure you're protecting yourself out there. Um, be aware that if something sounds too good to be true, nigga, it is too good to be true. You ugly, you know what I mean? And they'll never give you that shit anyway. But damn, my damn stream deck ain't even working, nigga. Yeah, my shit all over. Anyway, I gotta hop off because my shit is glitching out. Anyway, with that being said, man, I'm gonna pop on tomorrow. I'm gonna try to come back on tonight, and see if I can't do a pot of balloon and find love, but we'll figure it out. Love y'all, man. Make sure you like and hit the